Hey guys, so I wasn't expecting to do a reading today. I've actually got quite a lot of other plans on the go, but it's still early days, still time to, funny I'm talking about still having time to do things because that's kind of a bit of a theme that's coming through from this reading and this set of readings for the week. Yeah, I was going to say, I've got my coffee, it's still early, I've got time. So I feel like this reading is almost starting to explain what's happening with this set of readings this week. It's been very, very strange. Basically, I would say the theme of this set of readings, so from Libra to Pisces, is those who are in waiting mode, those who are in yin energy. It's kind of like there's nothing I can do. I just have to wait for doors to open. So while I'm waiting, I'm just going to go, I'm just going to tidy, I'm just going to do the laundry, I'm going to chop wood. So I think Libra, Sagittarius, Pisces had this kind of more receptive, patient, killing time energy, where some of the other signs, I think particularly Capricorn and Aquarius, were very, very pushy, like pushing forward, very much in that yang energy. So it's funny because Capricorn actually pushed forward, and I swapped around Capricorn and Libra this week. I kind of swapped the days that I'd do the readings because it's like nothing was working. I tried to do Libra's reading 3 times and I just couldn't get it. Was just like the energy was just so low. I just wasn't getting enough from it. Just felt really unsatisfied with that reading. And then so I pushed through it and I tried to do Scorpio and Sagittarius, and just generally those 3 readings just didn't feel right. So the next day I came to do Capricorn's reading and it was like, this was what you had to do. And so as soon as I did that reading, I was able to do all the other readings and it kind of flowed. But again, like Pisces and Libra, very kind of stuck energy. So I feel like there's something to do with, like, as I say, those who are taking action and those who are in waiting mode. And I feel like it could almost swap over, right? Sometimes people take action. We all have yin and yang energy within us. So sometimes we're the action takers, sometimes we're the doers, sometimes we're the ones pushing things along. And sometimes we have to take a step back, let others do what they need to do, and play a more supportive role. And that can swap over, right? There's a different times call for different things almost. So I think that could be something to do with the theme of the reading. I don't know what we're going to get. The only thing I know is that the song True Love Waits was the song that randomized for you by Radiohead, as I asked for a song going into this reading. True Love Waits. So it's something to do again about this waiting, killing time. Also, they're showing me the dog card from this deck, which is why I'm using that deck. And then the jackal fell out of this deck. So I feel like I want to lead with this jackal. I have never seen this card before. It's never come out for me in a reading before. It's a fairly new deck to me, and I never ever go through and look at every single card when I get a new deck. I wait until the message wants to come out, and it's the first time this card has ever come out for me. I have not read the description. We're going to do it together now on screen, and we're going to find out what this jackal wants to say. Just before I do launch into the reading, though, I've got a load of intuitive messages that I'm going to go through. I got loads of downloads last night, so we'll run through those. Something may mean something to you, something may not. I can't actually remember what's on my notes, so it's going to be a surprise for me again. It's a general reading, it's not a personal reading, so don't take anything I say personally or as literal advice. It's very important to use your own intuition and your own knowledge of your own situation to guide you. That should be the first point of call. This is just food for thought, things to get you thinking, right? Also, it's timeless when it finds you. It could be your reading at that time, and gender's very fluid in tarot, so don't worry if it's a man or a woman on the card, unless I specifically state, because these 2 decks actually do have a female and a male card. But other than that, unless I particularly state, just know that you can switch the gender around, and it's more about what's happening to the person, the character of the person, than the gender on the card, unless I specifically say. So before we read the Jackal card, I'm going to run through the intuitive things that I saw. It could be an indicator for you. If not, just leave it. So the first thing I saw was a finger. It was on the left hand, and it was either this knuckle or this knuckle. I feel like it was this knuckle, and it was almost like somebody maybe like cut it or caught it. It was like there was a little bit of like, I'm sorry, it sounds gross. It could have been paint. It could have been paint, but there was like a little bit of like what looked to me like dried blood in the knuckle. So it was like you know, you're chopping something, you actually, it was like a tiny bit, it wasn't like a serious thing, you know, tiny like bit of like dried blood in the knuckle there. So if you cut yourself while you're cooking or something, this could be your reading. It's funny as well, I went into work and my boss was like, oh, I cut my finger, and I was like, which one, where? Because I thought, is it this, is it the one that I saw? But she cut the tip of it. I heard, right, sometimes I hear sentences, and I heard someone say, the picture's at the very top of the mirror. The picture's at the very top of the mirror. I don't know what that means. It could mean something to you. I don't know if it's pictures plural or, you know, the picture is at the top of the mirror, so take it as it resonates. I channeled the song Graveyard by Halsey. I heard the word trailblazer, which again is coming through with some of the readings this week with the people who are forging ahead. So trailblazer. I got Aries energy as well, which is interesting because I haven't done Aries for this set. So Aries was last week, but could be something to that. Then I heard, again, I was hearing a lot of the, what's it called? Audio. I don't even know what it's called. No, can't think of the word. Hearing auditory things. I heard the mistake that made change. The mistake that made change. So if we all did things exactly by the book and never deviated, there would never be any change. And if there was never any change, there would never be any progress. It's kind of like that Bob Ross thing, right? Happy little accidents. It's mistakes that actually, it could be a mistake that highlights a problem with the system, and then that problem's fixed and it's like the system's made better. Or it could be an accident that works out well. It's like you do something wrong, you mess up, but in the long run you look back and think, well, I'm really glad that I messed that up because it's actually turned out more fortunate this way. So without mistakes and without mistakes, without accidents, there would be no innovation. And without an innovation, there'd be no progress. We'd be stuck, we'd be stagnant. So see accidents and mistakes as something that breaks the stagnancy and makes things, it actually improves things. So there's something to that. Then I was getting this stuff about, it was like I was seeing, you know, like kind of old-fashioned, like 80s, 90s arcade games. It was kind of like Game Over was the way it came through first. Game Over. So it was connected to this, the mistake that made change. It's like someone thought it was game over, but then what happened is I was seeing like on the computer screen, say you're on an arcade game, it's like it says game over, but then it has continue, right? It's like continue and it counts down 10, 9, and you have to add more coins, and you add more coins, and it's like you have like player 2 join, and player 2 can join, and then you can go on and win. Is the way it was coming through. It's really interesting actually the way it came through. So it's like someone thought there was some kind of an accident, some kind of mistake, they thought it was game over, but it was actually like an arcade game. It was like, no, maybe you needed to put more money into something. Just be wary of that. You don't want to pile a load of money into something that isn't paying off. But it's like, add more coins, continue, player 2 joins, and it's player 2 that actually is the deciding factor almost. So it's really interesting how that came through. I wrote in my notes, team up to beat the game. Team up to beat the game. And arcade, again, I've wrote on my notes. I can't remember my own notes. You can tell I was getting really tired at this point. I don't know. I'm going to show you my notes and maybe you can make some sense out of that. I did realise as I was writing it in the dark that I'd wrote something here and then I wrote over it. Requires to riot courage for the win. I don't know what that says. So whatever that says. I'm very tired today. This is what happens. Like, I woke up. 222. That's what I wrote. I remember now. I woke up at 22 minutes past 2. You can see there, 222. Yeah, 2, there's the dots, 22. I woke up at 2:22. That's when I saw the arcade thing. So I made a note of that as well. So it's interesting, 222, and here we've got the card that fell out is 44. So, Jackal then. I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee. I've got a bit of a sore throat as well. Like, my children were a bit like, I want to stay on school today. I was like, it's just a cold. I took everybody's temperatures. It's not COVID. But, I'm definitely not firing on all cylinders today. Let's put it that way. So, the jackal, the truth, right? So, somebody who's been wearing a mask, perhaps. But it's almost like the mask is actually this person's source of power, maybe. It's the ability to mask something that is allowing them to step forward in a very powerful way. It could be, for example, like with it being truth and with this person wearing a mask, it's almost like, say that you've got something going on inside and you've kind of been bottling it up, and you can call like a anonymous advice line and actually just talk everything through, but it's because it's anonymous, you're able to actually speak your truth. So there's a power in speaking your truth, although there's also a benefit to wearing the mask. Is kind of how it's coming through. Now do take that if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. We're going to read the card together and find out exactly what the creator of this deck they got from it. I'm just sort of saying what I'm getting from it so far. So with the kind of jackals at this person's feet, obviously it's one of the Egyptian gods, isn't it? I'm not sure which one. And he's got this ankh as well, and he's on his kind of tunic here. Interesting that it's in the reverse. I don't know what that means. Excuse me. So I'm noticing that there's 3 jackals on this card. One is looking to the past, one is looking to the future, and one is looking head on. So to me, this is saying take some time to look back at the past, have some awareness of the future. It's kind of like the Gates of Janus kind of thing. But be here in the now, be in the present, see things clearly. And there's this real sense of like this power behind this character, a real sense of like bursting forwards. It could be somebody, somebody when they speak their truth, it's very, very powerful perhaps. I'm also noticing this kind of like skeleton head here on his staff. Now I'm wondering if this is the jackal-headed god. Is it Anubis? Is it the one that weighs, when people die, is he the one that weighs their soul against a white feather to see if this person's been truthful and honest and, hang on. I was sort of getting something, but it didn't quite come through. It could have been like I'm sort of getting like veritas and credere, which is like Latin terms. It's like, has this person been honourable? Can this person be verified? Are they truthful? It could be something like that. Let's see what this says. So again, we're discovering this together, which is I really like that. I really like that this is like, I don't know what I'm going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates. Tarot card decks are like boxes of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And sometimes we go on this journey together. Jackal, Canidae, truth. Authenticity is important. Live your truth fearlessly. Someone around you is not telling you the truth. Do not fear what you cannot control. Again, this thing about waiting and control and taking action. Do not fear what you cannot control. We will all leave a legacy. So you should consider what this might be for you. Death is a part of life. Okay, I wasn't going to bring this up. But the song that played before True Love Waits, and I wasn't sure if it was for this reading or not, but it was Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. There could be something here. Yeah, they're giving me Soul Slides Away from an Oasis song. There could be someone here who is facing... it may not be a literal death. It could be thoughts and considerations around life and death. It could be... I'm going to leave that there. If this is something for you, take it. If it's not for you, leave it. Obviously... I'm not picking up anything like, just thinking how to say it in a tactful way. I'm not picking up anything that's kind of like this feels like something that is out of someone's hands. If it feels like it's like something somebody's facing, and it's not a decision that they're making. Obviously, if you need to speak to someone, I was talking about calling an advice line. If you need to speak to someone, a doctor, open up to a relative or even a teacher. If you're a younger person, although I don't recommend that younger people come to these readings. I deal with kind of adult themes, but if you need to open up to somebody, there could be somebody around you who you can talk to. If not, please talk to a doctor or a free advice line. There's internet forums that can help you. There's a lot of resources, if you just Google it, of places that you can talk to of advice. Okay, don't give up. That's not what I'm getting through for this reading, though. What I'm getting through here is it could be somebody's family member, or it could just be somebody's really thinking about what happens to the soul when we pass, It could be that someone has to get something off their chest if they are. It could be something like, I'm going into hospital for an operation. It's relatively minor, but I'm still, with anything, right? With any medical procedure, there's always like a small risk. I think doctors tend to say just so that they're covered, like insurance wise, right? But there is a risk sometimes, even if it's a very small one. So this could be, I want to say what I have to say. I want to get something off my chest because I don't know if I'll be able to say it again. So it could be something like that for somebody. I don't. Okay. Mythos. The majestic jackal-headed god Anubis stands next to the embalmer. He guides the embalmer's hands so they perform the correct actions, and listens in satisfaction as the proper incantations are made. I'm sorry, it's very noisy. It's quite warm today, so I do need my window open. Infinitely gentle, Anubis takes great care of the tender new souls who have passed on to the next world, the afterlife. He travels with them, reassuring them, making them comfortable upon this surprising journey, and taking them to the goddess Mat, she who is law. It is she who will weigh their souls against the lightness of a feather, and it is she who will determine whether these souls will live forever. Anubis will record this in the great book of the dead. To our eyes, Anubis looks fearsome, but this is not the truth. Jackals did not move among the graveyards and clear the dead, but this jackal hopes that the person has lived a truthful and good life, so that they get to experience the afterlife. The alternative is that they get eaten by Amut, the devourer of souls. Okay, this is just Egyptian religion. Okay, there's different belief systems. When the cult of the god Osiris grew stronger in the later Middle Kingdom, Osiris took over many of Anubis's jobs as caretaker and protector of the dead. Thereafter, Anubis's myths became more focused on specific embalming methods and mummification processes. The care and effectiveness in which the mummification process was enacted is still a marvel today. The priests of the funerary rites would place a sacred mask of Anubis upon their faces when conducting the mummification, and thus the dead person became the god himself. It's funny because I channeled, you can see it there on my notes. My terrible writing. Again, this is in the middle of the night when I'm half asleep. This is me trying to show which part of the finger was cut. Graveyard there by Halsey. I didn't set this up, guys. I haven't read this card until now. There are 3 species of jackal, all of which are members of the canine family: the golden jackal, the side-striped jackal, and the black-backed jackal. They are omnivores that are opportunistic both in hunting and scavenging, which is where the reputation for being around graveyards or sites of war comes from, as jackals will come for the dead and consume them. Morality for jackal pups is high, and to protect her babies, a jackal mother will often move her pups to a new den every few weeks. The magic. Sometimes we need a big dose of truth in our lives. This is where the jackal energy is a positive force. Even when finding out the truth of a situation means pain, it's better to know the truth, and jackal energy can be a comfort. Also, call upon this energy when you or others are affected by death. Allow yourself to know that the person who has died has a soul that is being carefully protected and watched over. Okay, I'm actually going to, because you may want to reread that. That seems like, if this is something that you're dealing with, this feels like actually very, very comforting, a very, I think a lot of the time there's a lot of fear in modern society around the idea of death, of loss, of pain. We don't talk about it very well. We don't, actually the kind of traditions that we have can actually be quite upsetting. They can feel very wrong. Sort of, for example, in the UK we have wakes. After we've had a funeral, we have a wake, which is everybody gets together as a family and drinks. You have a bit of a party to celebrate that person's life, but sometimes, depending on what stage of grief you're in, that can feel very wrong. You may want to be alone and deal with it privately. Also, like, I remember when my granddad died and we had a funeral. Sorry, Mum, to be talking about this, not trying to upset you. I remember being very upset by that, and it was almost like the funeral should feel very personal. I mean, there was brilliant things. There was amazing things, like I remember being a part of the funeral procession. The cars driving there. People would stop in the street and bow their head or take off the hat. Other cars would stop and let the funeral procession go through. There was a lot of respect for it, which I found very, very comforting. It's very, very nice to see complete strangers being so respectful. And my granddad was quite a popular person. He affected quite a lot of people in his life. So he had a big turnout. There was a lot of people there. But I remember being in the I don't know, it wasn't a church. It was like I don't know what it was, mini church. And I've never been a particularly, I like religion. I like my degrees in humanities. I like the stories that we tell as humans. I like the meaning that we find in our lives. Like Anubis has a lot of meaning, especially like to the people who lived in that culture. There was a kind of like a vapidness, a insincerity, a coldness to the actual funeral, because I thought that the person conducting it, very professional, very good at what they did, but a lot of the things that they were saying, it felt impersonal. It felt like it was, this person didn't really know my granddad. He was just doing his job. And so there's something very cold and clinical about that, and that was kind of what upset me. And this feeling of like, this is the time to say goodbye. No, I've never said goodbye to my granddad. He's very much still, the memories still make it feel like he's around. I live in the area that he lived. There's a lot of, I think about him often, and I think thinking about people keeps their memory alive, right? It keeps them with you. I don't have to say goodbye. He's still with me. So there's a lot of things to do with tradition, I think, around what happens when we lose people in our lives, what we're supposed to do versus actually what our emotions and soul are telling us. There could be something like that for you. If this is helpful to you, just as something to think about, if this is something that you're facing, then then I'm doing the right thing. The thing I'm not trying to do is upset anyone any further. So please, like, as I say, do take what works for you. If it's food for thought, brilliant. If it's something that you want to disregard, absolutely disregard it. It's your life. It's your the last thing I want to do is upset anyone. And I think a lot of the time when we do, I'm talking my truth now, when we do talk about our own experiences, it's very helpful to other people who are going through that. It can be helpful, but it can also be like, well, that's not what I'm feeling. And if you're not feeling that, then absolutely trust that. What are you feeling and why are you feeling that way? Okay. But there's something to do with, like, as I was saying, like, modern society, we tend to not want to talk about death. We don't know what to say to people in these moments. We don't want to say anything to upset anyone. through my studies in humanities, a lot of the I've dealt with mainly literature from particularly the ancient Rome and ancient Greece, and the early modern period in the UK. So they're kind of like my key areas. This literature, often one of the main themes is life and death. You can talk about Plato's Myth of Earth, for example, or Hamlet's soliloquy. It's good to talk about it and express it and explore this, especially through art and language. So I like some of the gods of death. Hades is actually my favourite male god from, or Pluto. I'd say Pluto more, Dispater, from the Roman system, because while people were scared to say his name, they didn't want to invoke him, they didn't want to bring that upon themselves, so people would be fearful of saying his name. However, he also was seen, particularly Dispater, I think, some of the there was like different groups, like different cults that had slightly different beliefs. A lot of their, and Anubis here, a lot of these cultures saw death almost as a gift, as a release from pain. If you've been in a lot of pain, if you've really suffered, it's like the disconnect between the broken body and the pure soul. The soul can be free then. Don't fear the reaper, will be able to fly. So again, don't, we've got laws for a reason. Don't do anything silly. If it's mental health issues, then that can be corrected by the correct support, and sometimes it can take a while to find the correct support. This is more like something that's not preventable, I would say. So okay, well, it's going to be one of those readings. Let's keep going, let's see what else they want to talk about. Yeah, so he had a job to do, old Pluto, Dispater, Hades, Anubis. Says, take my hand, what is it? I didn't feel any fear, something like that. I ran to him. So there's something about perspective. It depends on your situation, doesn't it, really? And your belief system. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that the soul lives on 100%. Like, that's absolutely my own personal belief system. I believe in past lives. I think we keep, similar to Plato's Myth of Earth, I suppose, or the Buddhist tradition. I think we keep coming down in different earthly forms until we learn the lessons that we're supposed to learn, until we get to the point where we are so selfless and zen-like that we've learned all the lessons that we need to learn. We don't have any attachments anymore, and good attachments to soul family are good, but I mean kind of like codependencies. And when we get to our highest version of ourselves, and then we've done it, we've achieved it. So yeah, I think we just keep coming down over and over again, forwards and backwards in time, different bodies, different experiences, until we've learned everything that there is to learn, until we're whole. That's my own thoughts and feelings on that, so you can take that or leave it. Growth plants. So this is immediately talking about emperor energy to me. The stag always represents emperors for me. Joy music. Because the emperor, you can't become a true emperor, an emperor in the upright, unless you've had all those difficult experiences, unless you've worked through all the different emotions that we could possibly feel, and come out of it on the other side, stronger than ever. So there could be something here about personal growth, about life cycles as well. When ashes to ashes, dust to dust, nothing really goes anywhere. Everything's part of the system. When a plant dies, it decomposes. The carbon dioxide and oxygen go into the air. When you blow a dandelion clock, the seeds disperse. The dandelion clock, goes back into the earth. I'm thinking about this because I saw some kind of, as I was walking there today. So there's emotional growth here as well, emotional development, a maturing of the way that we, the way that we face our fears. We face the things that are scary. We really look at them truthfully, right, without the mask, and figure out, look at things from a lot of different angles and really figure out our own truth. In this, again, it's talking about your own personal perspective. Different people are going to have different truths. So what is your truth? You're not going to find that. You're not going to have that emotional maturity, that spiritual confidence, unless you actually look at the things that scare you. Facing fears. And then music and joy. I was thinking about this, and I didn't say it before, about when I was talking about my granddad still being around, and it didn't. You could argue about the word joy here. I was shopping in the supermarket, and I remember my granddad's favourite song for a while. I think he danced to it one night when he was drunk or something. But it was Simply the Best. You're simply the best, better than all the rest. He really liked those kind of like big divas, Shirley Bassey and Tina Turner. So yeah, Simply the Best. And I was in the supermarket and this song came on, and it was like, it was unexpected, and I was in a flood of tears. But it wasn't sadness, It wasn't sadness. It was in that moment, my granddad was in my awareness. My granddad was with me unexpectedly, and the memory of him liking that song. It was joy. It was comfort. It was embarrassment because I was crying in the middle of the supermarket. But the feelings that was with that was very important. So there could be something about music as well. If you've lost someone, I remember being driven around sometimes by my granddad. He's a very lovely man, and he'd have all these old songs on, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, and trying to think of some of the other songs, those old crooners. And when I hear those songs, I'm taken back to that moment of being in the car as a child in the back seat, at night with the rain falling on the window, and it's kind of like this is saying this to me now, like the rain on the window screen, window shield, and sort of like listening to the music and feeling very safe and warm in the car, and watching the lights go by, and getting sleepy. And so there could be something for you if you are dealing with the loss of a person, that there may be something with when you hear those old songs that remind you of them. It's interesting as well, there is this growth. It could be, this is how, can you see all the growth around the guitar here, and then the growth around this stag representing the emperor for me. It could be something to do with this is how you deal with your emotions. If you're struggling with that, it could be that you need to, if you're particularly musical, write a song to express these feelings. Because can you see, it's like her soul is tied up with the music here. Sort of always gives me Marina and the Diamonds, that I don't want to live in a man's world anymore, where she's dancing in the desert, cleansing storms. Yeah, storms, the water, the emotions coming out. There's something to do with being truthful about your emotions and expressing, right? The power in expressing your emotions. Funny, because the Cappy reading today has this waterfall theme in it, which again is like the power of emotions. When the emotions start to flow, they are a force. You can see the force here behind this jackal. All right, so could be something to do with plants as well. When people pass away, sometimes you plant a tree. But this is talking to me about personal growth, experience and things. All right, let's keep going. So what else do we have from this deck, please? There you go, Gates of Janus. This is what this card always says to me. Okay, you've got the birdcage on the underline here. This talks to me about things that are kept inside, or feeling trapped. So it could be that you feel trapped, right? Or you felt trapped for a long time. Noticing the repeating numbers there again, 33. It's like the key is here now to unlock either your true identity, your true expressions, your true feelings, or just your ability to feel more free in the world. So that's a really nice card to have. I think there is a sense of, with it being that truth card, there is a sense of freeing something here, be scattering someone's ashes as well, you know, in woodland or around a tree. It could be like a tree that you used to, I know, like me and myself and my children, we go for walks in the fields, and there's this big tree in the middle of one of the fields that they always like to climb. And so it could be something like that, you know, you have memories of this tree, maybe you had a picnic under it, and so that's why you'd scatter the ashes there. Okay, this card to me talks about, right. This card talks to me about the Gates of Janus. As I say, it's like a choices to make. You're moving through a gateway in your life. You're moving from one phase of your life to another. The god Janus was the god of pathways. He protected travelers in a similar way to Zeus. And there's also this sense with Janus about, this keeps on coming up for me in different readings, a sense of, like, again, looking to the past and looking to the future. You can see the similarities here of this card, the three faces. So sometimes people, you know, this can mean wearing a mask, you know, definitely if you're keeping the truth inside. The moon symbolizing secrets here, the sun symbolizing clarity. And different pathways. There are 3 different pathways on this card. So past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. Very similar. Yeah, it's funny that I should mention that, and then this card would come out. There's a blindness here. The eyes are blind. So there's a sense of not having clarity of the past. But there's the sun's on the past, so having clarity on the this mask is smiling, clarity on the past, smiling. The moon is like secrets. It's like the future's unknown, the future's unwritten. I'm getting that Natasha Bedingfield song. I need to make a note of the songs that are coming through, actually. Just 1 second. Okay, so I think there's a couple of songs there that I mentioned that I've kind of forgotten, so I am sorry about that, but I'll try and note down as many as I can. They'll all be in the description box down below if you want to go and check those out. So, not knowing where the future is going to take you. So very much like be in the here and now. That's kind of the message that kind of Libra and Pisces are going to get this week. Being in the here and now, tending to the small things, doing the small details of daily life. It's like, don't be so much in the past that you overlook the present, you know, what's happening, because what's happening here is these little mice are nibbling away at somebody's resources. Somebody's not tending to their home, so, you know, their wealth is being depleted, kind of thing. So these little mice, they are little troublemakers in this deck. I always love that one there at the back. He's just like a little cheeky mouse. So yeah, just tend to the small details is the message of that card. Don't overlook the things in the here and now that need your attention, you know, especially like children. And then here we have the wishing well. So the wishing well can talk about healing. It's kind of Aquarian energy to me, similar to kind of like the star card, because it does talk about hopes and dreams and wishes. And, you know, there's an unlimited supply here. The water's never going to run out, basically. You can keep drawing water from that well. So there's something to do with like drawing water. I'm not quite sure what's coming through here, but with basically the way that the cards sit in relation to this card tells me things. So if these cards were behind, that would be very positive. But this way around, with them being on the side of the moon, it's almost like something that's unknown to you, or a cause for concern. So it's something to do with your resources here, with the mice nibbling away at your resources, things that are overlooked in regards to your dreams and wishes. So pay attention to the small details, but I would say, my fingers are tingling, let's get some more information. So tell me more about the mask, please, the face. Yeah, there's definitely secrets. Look at how the cards flipped and gone back in. Yeah, so there's some question around somebody's health here. It's definitely what I was kind of picking up on earlier. I think that somebody it could be themselves. You know, if you've got any health concerns, yeah, don't pay. This isn't like niggling things, right? Niggling things. If there's like, especially like niggling pain, perhaps, if you've got any niggling health concerns, go and check them out. Go and make that doctor's appointment. Like right now, pause the reading, go and make that doctor's appointment. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but if you You know, if you're perfectly fine, if you're like, what? No, I'm fine. Don't start looking for things. Don't start looking for problems. But if you are like, yeah, this thing's been bothering me for a while, I really should get it checked out, because sometimes if you catch things early, they're very, very treatable. Sometimes if you ignore those niggling concerns, then it's much more difficult to fix. So catch it early. If that's you, if you're like, I'm a bit worried about my health. There's something that it's been bothering me, but I keep putting it to one side. I keep ignoring it because it's scary. Don't ignore it. Go like truth. Look, truth, right? Face the truth. It could be something to do with somebody around you who's in bad health. They're trying to put on a brave face. Perhaps they're not actually explaining to you quite how ill they are. Perhaps again trying to protect you. I'm just listening to the birds outside my window and noticing this open window here on this card, and this card here, it's almost like that's outside the window. So there's something to do like green, the colour green, and plants being healings. Could be something to do with like natural remedies. Obviously, I don't completely dissuade, turn you back on modern science, but complementary medicine perhaps could be very useful to somebody at the moment. It could be something to do with somebody wanting to go outside, to be outside, especially if they've been trapped indoors because of health problems. There could be some real benefit to going to a place of nature. So I've gone quiet because I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to say what I'm getting or not. And ultimately, it's not my job to decide. It's my job to say what I'm getting. I'm getting a song by Billie Eilish. Take me to the rooftops. I want to see the world when I. So you can take that if you like. I'm not trying to upset anyone. There's a sense of someone turning away from this, of not looking at something truthfully, of not accepting what's happening in a situation. Don't fear the reaper. Also, true love waits, Mouse. Privileged lady. Yeah, definitely something to do with wealth or resources here, I feel. I think these are forget-me-nots, are they not? Or snowdrops? No, the snowdrops, not forget-me-nots. Interesting that I read it that way, though. So there could be somebody who's a privileged lady involved, somebody who perhaps has a lot of wealth, has a lot of privilege in their life. Maybe things have gone right for this person, or they're in a position where, they've got a lot of comforts around them. But this, again, is like, don't... It's nibbling away at the resources. And then here we have distant horizons. So distant horizons here with this well card. So it can take a long time to heal from things. It's a long process perhaps, but again, it's true love waits, right? True love waits. It's like, this is like wish fulfillment, but it's like far in the future. Watch out for seagulls and like ocean birds. They could be speaking to you right now about, pay attention, especially if you're thinking about hopes and dreams and wishes for the future. If you notice seabirds, pay attention to that. Could definitely be something. So it's like, if you've got some kind of hope for the future, if you feel like something's out of your reach, if you think like there's impossible odds against you, the message of this card is like, the ships can fly, things, believe in the impossible is kind of the meaning of this card. Gift. All right. Well, I knew a reading wanted to come through strongly. I just didn't know what it was going to be, It's kind of melancholy, right? It's kind of beautiful in a sad way. It's like, even though we face difficult things in our life, you know, this, you know, there is healing at the end of the journey. There is hope. The mask in bad health, please. The mask in bad health. No. The mouse and the privileged lady. Ace of Wands. Okay. Well, the Ace of Wands is it's new. It's new. It's a new passionate start. It's there's also a sense of victory here with it as well, I think. Yeah, the Wands are about creative energy, passion, you know, drive, ambition, the things that empower us, the things that make us feel motivated, and yeah, very, very creative. You know, creation energy comes from passion, if you like to put it that way. Aces is something that's new. It's also a divine gift from the universe, something that is brought to us as a gift, right? You've got this gift here, expectation as well. Explain the Ace of Wands, please, to me. Why is the Ace of Wands here with privileged lady and the mouse? Nice. Working together. So could definitely be some kind of new creative opportunity here for somebody. The really nice thing about this card is it's 3 different people, could be more than 3. It depicts people from different fields coming together to build something, to create something. So you have the person here with the plans, right? You have the person who's like the architect. You have the person here who's kind of like the designer, the creative person. They put the finishing touches to it, if you like. And we have the person here who actually does the work. So there's something here to do with like different people coming together. Here we have this creation energy. So something new being created, but there's a collaboration element involved. And tell me about the wishing well and distant horizons, please. Wishing well and distant horizons. The completion and yeah, 2 completion cards here. So you've got the World, which literally talks about the completion of one phase of your life, something wrapping up, something coming to an end. So this doesn't have to be literal death, by the way. It could be a situation that's in bad health, a relationship, a work situation. It's in bad health. You've got a lot of memories from the past, perhaps, but there's something to do with new growth, new opportunities coming through. So it's saying that you may need to close out one cycle of your life. Something needs to end, right? Don't fear the end. So if it's not a literal death, it's don't fear the closure of some sort of cycle in your life. But this is completion. This is like lessons learned. So you would normally get this card, for example, when you've completed a degree, you've completed a phase of learning in your life. It's saying you've learned everything you can from this situation. It's time to close that chapter of your life and move on, you know, to distant horizons, future horizons. So the World card can actually also talk about internet, you know, the World Wide Web. So there could be something to do with the internet here for you. It can also talk about worldwide travel. Interesting, because we have this other card about travel here with distant horizons. It may be like you want to look at them both up in the clouds as well. You want to travel, you want to move somewhere else, but it feels like it's an impossible dream. It feels like it's really, really far away. This is saying it's not impossible, right? It's 2 cards here symbolizing movement, the closure of one chapter, the opening of another, and then you have this passion project here. Here was the 2 cards together. This is like strong closure energy. The 10 of Wands is a card about putting down the baggage, dropping the burdens. I talk about the 9 of Wands quite often. It comes up quite often in my readings, because the 9 of Wands is a card about feeling like you've been very burdened for a long time. There's something that you've been carrying on, you know, you've had a weight on your shoulders for a long time. You know, it's getting really hard to keep going. You kind of keep falling to your knees and picking yourself back up again. But the brilliant thing about the 9 of Wands, and the reason why I love it so much, even though it's one of the most challenging cards in the tarot, is that it gives you the life experience and the perseverance to become the emperor or empress. It's bringing you to that you know, upper tier of your life where you're very mature and you've got a handle on things because you've got that life experience. You know, these are the best people in the world, have had these challenges, and they have the strength of character and the compassion to help others. So very beautiful card. And then the 10 of Wands is like, it comes after the 9 of Wands. It comes after you know, feeling like you've fallen to your knees a thousand times and picked yourself up again. And because you keep picking yourself up again, you get to the 10. Now the 10 is like you're nearly home. You're nearly home. It's nearly time to put those burdens down. So with the World card as well, it's like anything that you felt like has been heavy baggage, emotional baggage, literal stuff in your world, right, that needs to end, that needs to complete. It's been a really hard journey. This is telling you, I mean, it's in the future position, but this is telling you that it will close out. That chapter will close. You will be able to put those burdens down and move on. You know, that look, this on this card, they've dropped the anchor. The anchor's gone. The burdens, you know, there's nothing weighing this ship down anymore. They're moving forward. So if you felt like, is this ever going to end? You know, is this situation ever going to improve? You've got a huge yes here. Yes. Your load will lighten. Yes, you will have wish fulfillment. Yes, you will have a bright future. Yes, you will complete this cycle. Okay? I can see that it's difficult though. Do pay attention to the small details. The Tower moment here. Okay, we're going to have to pull cards on the Tower. The Tower is... it's a big kick up the butt from the universe. It's like a shock, a surprise, not always a good surprise, although it can be. It's the feeling of chaos, the feeling of like, oh my goodness, my life is suddenly out of my hands, something's out of my control, something unexpected happens, but it's for your own good, because the Tower moments come in to test your foundations. What's meant to fall will fall away. You know, the cycles will close. Those things that are holding you down will fall away, and you'll have a new day. You know, the baggage will be gone. You'll have a new day. It's Scorpionic energy, Plutonic energy associated with the Jackal. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, so it's if you think about Loki as well from you know, that culture, Loki, the chaos theory, nature, the chaos element, lightning, the things that we can't control, but they're, what was that line that I got? The mistakes that made change. This is the mistake that makes the change. Okay, so the Tower moments, they can be difficult when you're in the moment. You know, when that lightning strike comes, when the storm is happening, it can be scary, it can be turbulent. You can have this feeling of like, I don't know where my life's going, everything's out of control, I'm scared. But the storm will clear and you'll be able to see things with a lot of clarity here with the Jackal. You know, you'll have the truth. And then you can make the decisions, right? Then you can make those changes that are going to take you towards wish fulfillment. Temperance is under here, which tells you be calm, be patient, keep your temper, stay in the eye of the storm, right? Let the storm rage around you. Kind of be Elsa. Be Elsa, just be Zen in the middle of the storm. So I'm just going to ask about that Tower. Can you explain what the Tower moment is for me? What is the Tower moment, please? Not for me, but for whoever's coming to this reading today. What would you like to tell me about this Tower? Ace of Cups. So you've got the Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands. So if of all the Tower moments that you could possibly have, the Ace of Cups is a very nice Tower moment. The Ace of Cups, as I said about the Ace of Wands, this is like, it's divinely guided. This is like a creative idea, a new opportunity, something that gets you fired up and passionate. And here you have the Ace of Cups. Look at how much water is overflowing from this cup. It feels like the dam's breaking. I've had this for a while, especially like Scorpio, Capricorn had this thing about withholding emotions. Scorpio is kind of like walling up these emotions, building a dam, holding all that water back. But, you know, there's a lot of pressure with water that builds up. And the more you bottle things up, the more likely the cracks are going to start to appear. That dam will break. The emotions will come forward with this kind of intense force. Again, if you're associated with Capricorn energy, do go and watch the Capricorn reading today. Also, Nicholas Ashbow's Capricorn reading for next month, because we've both had this waterfall imagery. The waterfall comes out in my reading that's going up today on Monday, the 20-something, when I'm recording this, Monday the 24th of May. I recorded it, when did I record it? I think last Thursday, possibly. I think it was last Thursday. Could have been, yeah, it will have been last Thursday. I think. I had this waterfall imagery, and then I watched Nicholas Ashbaugh. He put his video up. I watch a lot of his videos. In that gap between me recording that video and it being published, and he also had this waterfall reference. So there's the emotions bursting forward is how that feels, and it's divine emotions. It's a gift from the universe. Your emotions are a gift from the universe. Being able to say how you feel, being able to release. It's the release of emotions. It is new. So it could be a new relationship that comes into your life. It comes in as a bit of a shock. Someone tells you how they have feelings for you. It's a shock. Or it could be somebody that you've known for a long time, and it's like your relationship is going to a new level here. There's new emotions. 8 cups are to do with emotions. Water is to do with emotions, feelings. Aces are brand new gifts from the universe, and this one is coming in with a big tower moment. This is like, I can't contain my emotions any longer. I have to tell the world how I feel, or I have to tell somebody how I feel about this situation. It could be that someone comes into you and says, look, I have feelings for you, and it comes in with this huge shock. It's like earth shattering, right? It literally rocks your world. But it feels like a dam breaking. It feels like a bursting forth of emotions, bursting forth of feelings, something that can't be contained any longer. The tower can also sometimes symbolize authority that contains. The tower moments shape those foundations. So really nice tower moment there. It could be again this kind of like this energy of facing the unknown, of being like, I have to go and I have to have an operation. I'm facing some sort of end in my life, and it's like, if I don't say how I feel now, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to say it again. It could be that sort of situation. It doesn't have to be a love interest. It can be a family member. It can be a lot of different things. I have to tell people how important they are to me, because I may never get the chance to say this again. Could be something like that. Challenging reading. Very challenging reading. There's a lot of emotion here, though. There's a lot of emotional healing, fulfillment, emotional depth. Huge amount of emotional depth here. All right, can I get an advice card, please, to close out this reading? Advice card to close out this reading. Thank you. On the underlying, interesting, we've got chameleon. That was actually the card underneath this card. When this card slid off, I saw the chameleon. So the chameleon, is about change. It's about adaptability, being able to adapt to different situations, especially when you have those tower moments. Also, the story of the chameleon is don't be too slow. Don't be too slow, because somebody may beat you to it, is kind of the message of that card. I have read that card before. Wolf, authenticity. Unbelievable. Look, you've got truth and authenticity. And both of these kind of like canine family animals. Okay, it looks scary, right? The wolf looks scary, but it's actually not. I'm going to read you this card and then we'll close out the reading. I can't pull you songs on camera at the moment because my tablet's broke, so I can't pull songs on my phone and record at the same time. So I'm afraid that the songs this week are going to be pulled off camera when I finish the reading. But genuinely, there's no kind of trickery on my part. Whichever 2 songs come through is going to be the last 2 songs on the reading. I'm going to ask for a what you need to hear right now. So if this reading is resonating with you at the end of the reading, if you're thinking, oh my god, yes, this is my reading, I'm going to ask for a song for you that you really need to hear. So the second to last song will be that song. If you go and look in the description box down below, the song, the very last song is your advice that I'm going to ask for. So if it's resonating with you, that's going to be your advice song. So go and have a look at those 2 last songs in the description box down below. See what they say to you. It could be that one of those songs is particularly meaningful to you in some sort of way. It could be that you hate the song. And if you hate the song, ask why you hate the song. There's something, the universe is trying to get you to look at something. If it's an unfamiliar song, maybe watch the video, see if anything jumps out to you. Again, look for the small details. And also, look through the lyrics, perhaps have a listen. Perhaps it could just be the music that evokes something with you. You have that music card up there. It could be that a particular line or a lyric jumps out to you. I know that the song that actually randomized for you as I was setting up the reading, True Love Waits by Radiohead, really kind of hits me. It's when I hear that song, it's so beautiful, and it is a song that makes me cry quite often. So, you know, songs can make us feel certain things, and definitely go and check out those songs in the description box at the end of the reading if it's relevant to you. Also, thank you to everybody who's subscribing at the moment. Really lovely to see those numbers going up and to have that support for the channel. And thank you to everybody who's leaving likes, who's leaving comments, especially positive comments, although it's interesting to see the comments that I do get, whether, you know, sometimes people have some difficulty with the reading. It's also interesting to hear that feedback too. So don't ever be scared of, you know, telling me your truths. If there's something you want to say in that comment box down below, really like to hear it. I may disagree, I may not reply, but I do read the messages, and I do take note of them. So leave a like if you like, share it with your friends if you think it's their reading, it's something they need to hear as well. Obviously it's a sensitive topic, so do that carefully if you're going to do that. And those of you that are having a difficult time of it and are keeping things quiet, and you just want to come in and kind of do that stealth watching, flying under the radar and kind of watch and hide, I thank you for being here. Thank you for getting to this point in the reading, because those watch hours actually really help out my channel as well. So you know, you are absolutely appreciated, even if you don't want to subscribe or like or comment. Thank you for being here. And if you're getting something from this reading, then, you know, absolutely, that's the most important thing. So let's read this card together, and then I'll close out the reading, guys. Thank you for being with me for this long. Authenticity. Discover who you really are by revealing your Discover who you really are by revealing your authenticity. This is always the best way. We all resonate at a frequency, so if you are pretending to be someone you are not, you will keep attracting people with whom you do not resonate. It is necessary to negotiate a position with others sometimes, but there should be no anxiety about differences in opinion. Mythos. The Skyoe, the plain-speaking Norse goddess of the mountains, wildness and the unknown, was a powerful huntress, a lover of snow, and a keeper of wolves. She lived in a profound silence of nature on the high plains, surrounded by her pack of wolves, which helped her hunt and protect the realm. Although independent and beautiful, she decided it was time to be married. She demanded from the other gods a husband as recompense for the unlawful death of her beloved father, Perjazi. She chose the god Njoror, I'm sorry if I'm mangling all these Norse names. She chose the god Njoror as her new husband. And, as was customary, she moved to live in her new husband's house. Njoror, however, was a sea god who lived on an island, and that was always noisy with the mighty crashing of waves and the screeching of seabirds. Funny about that seabird thing again, because I mentioned that before, right? All this constant and incessant noise was too much for Skyoe, who was used to the soft silence of the snow and the howling of her wolves. When she spoke of missing her true home and her desire to be more independent, she and Njoror negotiated and agreed to try alternating homes every 9 days. Njoror came to Skyoe's mountain home, but found it to be cold and desolate of life, so white, so quiet and depressing. He felt isolated and missed his home too. When dividing their time between Nuatan and in Praimir didn't work out, they decided to live apart but stay married. Skyoe then returned to her beloved mountains, where she hunted from her skis and lived in her cherished wolf packs. She would visit Njoror and he her when they most desired each other. Wolves feature in the mythos of almost all human societies that encounter them, which highlight their charisma and importance. For example, Rome was founded by Romulus and Remus, who was cared for and suckled by a she-wolf. Fenrir, the great Norse wolf, heralded heralded Ragnarok, the end of the world, and the Celtic... The Celtic Morrigan kept wolves. Let's keep going. Wolves are powerful animals. Although wolves are very social, mated pairs or solo hunters have much more success than larger groups when hunting. They have they're both a subject of fear and love. Again, like the gods of death, you know, depending on your perspective, you may fear them or you may love them. Let me just have a quick look through. They are social and expressive animals with a variety of distinct physical behaviours that enable other wolves to read intent and status. Growling, head tilts, teeth baring and posturing are just a few of those non-verbal communication cues. Perhaps one of the most distinctive features of the wolf is their famous haunting howl, which is used as a vital communication tool among the pack. Okay, so again, the key element I would say of this reading is you've got truth, you've got authenticity, and something I think that needs to be communicated, right? Something that needs to be brought forward. There is a difficult section here, but it ultimately leads to the completion of a cycle and movement towards wish fulfillment. There is a change, you know, there is a change with that chameleon there. So I hope this reading's been helpful to you. I hope that you've pulled something from this reading that's meaningful. I don't think I have anything else to say, but I'll go and pull those songs for you, and you can go and check those out in the description box down below. Yeah, I kind of don't want to leave this reading. I feel like there's something more to be said, but also I do feel like, you know, there's this, it feels right? Something more to be said, but it also feels right. So that could mean something in itself. Do take care, everybody. Chin up, Chuck. You know, you're going to something good, and do take care. Sending you all the love and healing thoughts today. If this is your situation, I know you've got the strength, right, to get to that 10 of Wands and the completion here. You know, that perseverance is a skill, and it's you're getting stronger every time you pick yourself back up. You get stronger. You know, spiritually. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. All right, I'm back. It's not for me to understand why these things are what they are. The song that came through as the song you need to hear right now is It Any Wonder by Keen. The song that came through as your advice. Now, just to say, before it came through, I was tidying up the cards. You can see I've sort of started to tidy everything up, and these two cards fell out as I was asking. I was asking Spotify for an advice song for you, and these two cards kind of came out like this, and then like Hungry Like a Wolf was the song that played. So funny, because like those, like the jackal and the was it a wolf? What was it? I don't know, those cards that came out, Jackal and Wolf, and then you've got Hungry Like the Wolf is your advice song. So not what I expected, because these two cards were sort of saying to me, how I was talking about the tower moment, you know, the waterfall, the dam breaking and the water pouring forth with a huge amount of power, you know, meaning those emotions, the storm coming. And then these two cards were here, cleansing storms and fecundity, rain. So the cleansing, right, the allowing the emotions to flow, allowing the feelings to be expressed, even if it's some, you know, you have to do it in a safe place, like to a counselor or something, you know, with that sense of anonymity. But just to kind of say what these kind of mean, because I'm taking this as part of your advice, right? 23, let me just find 23. Definitely something to do with emotions breaking forward. And I was sort of reminded of, without saying too much about the readings that are coming up ahead, Rain came through as one of the songs for Aquarius on the Friday, so you can watch out for that as well if Aquarian energy is in your chart or you're dealing with an Aquarius. But here we have storms. Sometimes you need to raise a lot of energy to blow away what you no longer need. An issue will be coming to a dramatic head. Cleanse your body. Especially if you've got niggling health issues, right? Cleanse your body. Let go of what you feel you no longer need. Be specific in what you release. Harm as little as you can. harm as little as you can. And then you have this rain, fecundity, right? So all this water, storms, rain. The conditions of greater prosperity are being met. Know that all will be well. Cleanse yourself of old, outdated views. You have everything you need to grow. Let yourself be cleansed. The word fecundity comes from fecundatio, which translates apparently in Latin to fruitfulness. I know dat is to give, right? Fecundatito, datio, if I can say it, fruitfulness. The sound of rain on leaves or a tin roof, the sweet smell of rain as it hits the thirsty earth after a hot day, the simple pleasures of life. You soon know how much rain contributes to the balance and health of a land when you haven't had any for a long time. So there could definitely be something to do with emotions here, especially if you've been holding emotions back, or you've, perhaps had a lack of love in your life. It's when you do get it, it's very, very, I'm just thinking about that Madonna song again. It's like, I feel it, it's coming. It is healing, Right, okay, do take care. Strange reading, sad reading, but also quite a very beautiful reading. Kind of interested to hear any stories that you have around that, if that's the reading that is particularly relevant to you. Again, best of luck, sending you all the love in the world here. You've got this, right? You've absolutely got this. Do take care, and yeah, I'll see you again soon, guys. Bye.